On the fateful evening of April 4, 1968, a single gunshot reverberated through the air, marking a tragic turning point in American history. Martin Luther King Jr., a beacon of hope and a steadfast advocate for peace and justice, was struck down on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. As he prepared for a march in support of sanitation workers, a cause emblematic of his relentless pursuit of equality, his life was abruptly ended by an assassin's bullet. The news of King's assassination sent shockwaves across the nation, igniting a firestorm of grief and anger. In cities from coast to coast, racial tensions erupted into violence, as communities grappled with the loss of a leader who had tirelessly championed civil rights. His death was not just a personal tragedy for those who knew him, but a profound national loss that left an indelible mark on the American conscience. In the immediate aftermath, the country found itself engulfed in a period of intense mourning. Public institutions, including schools and businesses, closed their doors in a solemn tribute to the fallen leader. Across the nation, people gathered in churches, community centers, and public squares, seeking solace and unity in the face of this devastating event. Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination was a catalyst for change, a moment that highlighted the urgent need for progress in the struggle for civil rights. Yet, it also exposed deep-seated divisions and inequities that continued to plague the nation. As the days turned into weeks, the initial shock gave way to a resolve among many to carry forward King's mission. In the midst of this national mourning, questions began to arise about the circumstances surrounding King's death. The identity and motives of the assassin became the subject of intense speculation and investigation. Who could have wanted to silence a man whose message was one of peace and equality? James Earl Ray, a small-time criminal, was quickly identified and apprehended, but his arrest only deepened the mystery. Despite his initial confession, Ray later recanted, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and fueling a myriad of conspiracy theories. Was he truly acting alone, or was he a pawn in a larger, more sinister plot? As we delve deeper into the unsolved mysteries surrounding Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, we are reminded of the enduring impact of his life and work. His vision for a just and equitable society continues to inspire generations, urging us to confront the injustices of the past and strive for a better future. This tragic event, though rooted in violence, ultimately serves as a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the unyielding pursuit of truth and justice. In remembering Martin Luther King Jr., we are called to reflect on the legacy he left behind, a legacy that challenges us to uphold the values of peace, equality, and justice in our own lives. As we embark on this journey through history, let us honor his memory by continuing to seek answers to the questions that remain, and by committing ourselves to the cause for which he gave his life. In the wake of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, the nation stood still, gripped by a profound sense of loss and disbelief. Across the United States, a wave of mourning swept through communities, transcending racial and social boundaries. Streets that once bustled with life fell silent, as if the very heartbeat of the nation had been momentarily paused. Public institutions, from schools to government offices, closed their doors in a somber tribute to a man whose voice had championed justice and equality for all. The news of King's death acted as a catalyst, igniting a firestorm of emotions that quickly turned to unrest. In cities across the country, racial violence erupted, a stark manifestation of the deep-seated tensions that King's life had sought to alleviate. As the days passed, the nation prepared to bid farewell to its fallen leader. King's funeral, held in Atlanta, Georgia, became a historic gathering of mourners, a testament to the indelible mark he had left on the world. Leaders from various walks of life converged to pay their respects, their presence underscoring the universal impact of King's message. The funeral procession itself was a poignant reflection of King's life and legacy. A simple wooden cart, drawn by mules, carried his casket through the streets of Atlanta, echoing the humble beginnings of the civil rights movement. As the procession moved forward, the air was filled with the sound of hymns and the quiet murmur of prayers. In the days following the funeral, the nation grappled with the enormity of its loss. King's assassination had not only taken a beloved leader but had also cast a long shadow over the future of the civil rights movement. Yet, Amidst the grief and uncertainty, there was a renewed commitment to continue the work he had begun. The immediate aftermath of King's death was a period of intense reflection and reckoning. As the dust settled and the nation began to heal, the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. remained a guiding light. His legacy, though born of tragedy, became a beacon of hope, inspiring generations to come to dream of a world where peace and justice prevail. In the aftermath of Martin Luther King Jr.'s tragic assassination, a nationwide manhunt ensued, leading to the arrest of James Earl Ray. His capture was swift, yet the story that followed was anything but straightforward. Initially, Ray confessed to the crime, pleading guilty in a move that shocked many. But soon, the narrative took a twist. Ray recanted his confession, claiming he had been coerced and that his involvement was not as it seemed. This retraction sent ripples of doubt and suspicion throughout the nation. The arrest of James Earl Ray seemed to offer closure, yet it opened the door to a labyrinth of questions. How did a small-time criminal manage to orchestrate such a high-profile assassination? Was Ray truly acting alone, or were there others pulling the strings behind the scenes? These questions plagued investigators, historians, and the public alike, casting a long shadow over the official narrative. Ray's background was one of instability and petty crime, a drifter with no clear ties to any larger organization. Yet, his escape from prison and subsequent travels across continents hinted at a level of sophistication that seemed beyond his means. As authorities pieced together his movements, from his escape from a Missouri prison to his capture at London's Heathrow Airport, the complexity of the case deepened. The investigation into Ray's motives and actions revealed a tangled web of aliases and false identities. His journey took him from the United States to Canada, then across the Atlantic to Europe, raising suspicions about the resources and support he might have had. The question of whether Ray acted as a lone wolf or was part of a larger conspiracy became a focal point of public discourse. Adding to the intrigue was Ray's claim of being a patsy, a scapegoat for a crime orchestrated by others. His insistence on this narrative fueled conspiracy theories that pointed fingers at various entities, from organized crime syndicates to government agencies. These theories were further amplified by the tumultuous political climate of the time, with the civil rights movement at its peak and deep-seated tensions within the nation. Despite the guilty plea, Ray's subsequent legal battles to withdraw his confession and seek a trial kept the case in the public eye. His claims of innocence and the potential for a broader conspiracy captivated a nation already reeling from King's loss. The lack of conclusive evidence to either fully exonerate or implicate Ray in a larger plot left many questions unanswered. As the years passed, the mystery surrounding Ray's true role in the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. remained unsolved. His death in 1998 did little to quell the speculation, leaving behind a legacy of doubt and unanswered questions. The case of James Earl Ray stands as a testament to the complexities of justice and truth in the face of one of the most significant assassinations in American history. Ultimately, Ray's arrest and the controversy surrounding his confession underscore the enduring uncertainty and intrigue that enveloped the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. It is a story that continues to captivate and challenge, urging us to look deeper into the shadows of history to seek the truth. In the wake of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, the nation was left grappling with a profound loss, but also with a cascade of unanswered questions. At the center of this storm was James Earl Ray, a man whose name quickly became synonymous with the crime. Yet, doubts about his guilt persisted almost from the moment of his arrest. While Ray initially confessed to the assassination, he later recanted, claiming he had been set up as a patsy. This reversal only added fuel to the fire of public skepticism. The official narrative, which pointed to Ray as the lone gunman, was met with widespread disbelief. Many found it hard to accept that a single man, acting alone, could have orchestrated such a calculated act against one of the most protected figures in America. Theories began to emerge, suggesting that Ray was not the mastermind but merely a pawn in a larger, more sinister game. The FBI's involvement in the case also raised eyebrows. It was no secret that the Bureau, under J. Edgar Hoover, had long been suspicious of Dr. King, subjecting him to intense surveillance. Revelations about the extent of this monitoring led some to question whether the FBI had a role in the events that transpired. Further complicating matters were claims of co-conspirators. Some witnesses and alleged insiders posited that a group, rather than an individual, was responsible for King's death. These claims suggested a conspiracy that reached into the highest echelons of power, involving figures who had much to gain from silencing King. The public skepticism about the investigation's adequacy was not unfounded. Many felt that the case was closed too quickly, with too many loose ends left untied. This perception was exacerbated by the fact that key pieces of evidence seemed to vanish or were never thoroughly examined. The rifle allegedly used by Ray, for instance, was a source of contention, with some experts arguing that it did not match the ballistics of the fatal bullet. These doubts were not limited to conspiracy theorists or fringe groups. Even members of King's own family expressed their belief that the truth had not been fully uncovered. Coretta Scott King and her children publicly called for a new investigation, convinced that Ray was innocent or at least not the sole perpetrator. As the years passed, the conspiracy theories surrounding King's assassination took on a life of their own. They became part of a broader narrative of distrust in government and institutions, a reflection of the turbulent times in which they were born. For many, these theories were not just about seeking justice for King but about challenging a system that seemed, at times, impenetrable and unaccountable. Despite numerous investigations and a civil trial that suggested a broader conspiracy, the full truth remains elusive. Theories continue to abound, each one adding another layer to the mystery. Was it a government plot, a mafia hit, or something else entirely? The answers remain just out of reach, tantalizingly close yet frustratingly distant. In examining these theories, it becomes clear that they are more than mere speculation. They are a testament to the enduring impact of King's life and legacy, a reminder of the power he wielded and the threats he faced. They also serve as a call to action, urging us to question, to probe, and to seek the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it may be. As we delve deeper into these unresolved mysteries, we are reminded of the words of Dr. King himself: "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." It is this pursuit of justice that continues to drive the search for answers, keeping the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr. alive in the hearts and minds of those who refuse to let his story fade into history. As the years passed, the shadow of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination continued to loom large over the nation. Despite the passage of time, the questions surrounding that fateful day remained as pressing as ever. James Earl Ray's death in 1998 did little to quell the persistent doubts and conspiracy theories. The King family, steadfast in their pursuit of truth, sought to reopen the case, driven by a belief. They were not alone in their skepticism. Many Americans shared the sentiment that the investigation had been incomplete. In a remarkable turn of events, a civil trial in 1999 brought new attention to the case. The trial resulted in a Memphis jury finding that a conspiracy involving a local businessman, Lloyd Jowers. This verdict, though symbolic and not legally binding, reignited the debate and kept the controversy alive. The civil trial's outcome was a stark reminder of the complexities surrounding the assassination. It suggested that there might be more layers to the story than previously acknowledged. The legacy of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination is one of both profound tragedy and unyielding mystery. It serves as a poignant reminder of the turbulent times in which it occurred, a period marked by civil unrest. Yet, the assassination also stands as a testament to the enduring struggle for civil rights. In reflecting on King's legacy, we are reminded of his unwavering commitment to nonviolence and social justice. As we close this chapter, we are left with a call to action, to seek truth, to demand justice. His dream lives on in the hearts of those who refuse to let his message be overshadowed by the mystery. The story of Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination is a reminder of the power of one individual's voice. So, as we remember the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., let us also remember the enduring impact. In doing so, we honor not just the man, but the movement he inspired, a movement that continues.